everybody? Welcome back. My name is PNP Zleya for a PNP Podcast Royal Rumble edition. I know it's been a very long time since we've done one, but on the road to Wrestlemania, I thought it was a perfect time to actually start back up. Been wanting to start back for a while. This isn't going to be a usual review. It's going to be an oversight and opinionated. We're just going to talk. We're just going to see how far this goes. Try to keep this under 20 minutes, maybe 25. But everyone who's listening, I appreciate you. It is going to be on the Royal Rumble, and it's going to be from my point of view on where I started. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the pre-show, and I wasn't able to watch the Roman Reigns match versus Baron Corbin due to the fact that my internet was down and I was setting everything up. But the rest of the show I did catch. I did make notes. I did keep mental notes, and I thought it was one of the best pay-per-views that they've had in a while, and I thought it was the best way that they could start the road to WrestleMania. So the very first match I actually ended up catching was the end of Roman Reigns beating Baron Corbin, but that was a half-decent match, or what I caught of it was half-decent. Next, I had the Women's Royal Rumble, where Charlotte Flair was the winner. I ended up thinking that she would win, and I thought that she would most likely go on to face Becky Lynch, because that was jotted down about over a year ago after WrestleMania last year in New York to be the main program. A lot of surprises. This was my favorite Women's Royal Rumble match from all the three that they've had, even from the very first one where Asuka won. So it started off with Bianca Belair coming out as number 1 and Alexa Bliss coming out as number 2. The two had a great brawl for a while. Bianca Belair was just being built like a boss, just so talented, so athletic. I think it was a really good way to push her, especially when she is being jotted down to face Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's title. Alexa Bliss looked strong. It was a really good way to start off the match. We had many different storylines on here. It's the road to WrestleMania, so a lot of storylines end up getting built. One of my favorite definitely was when Mandy Rose finally came out and Sonya Deville came out. But before that, Mandy Rose was doing all right, and I thought she got eliminated before the camera cuts, and Otis is the one who saved her, and they were so close to just kissing, and the crowd just goes crazy for it. It's simple, it's fun, it's good storytelling, and now we are getting an element back where Sonya Deville looks like she might get jealous and turn on Mandy, and just be upset with the whole Otis thing. So Otis ends up staying outside the ring. It actually turns out to be Sonya Deville who ends up accidentally kicking Mandy and then Mandy is catched by Otis. But then Mandy Rose gets eliminated, or Sonya Deville, gets eliminated, and she knocks down both Otis and Mandy, eliminating all three from the match. So, some great surprise that we had back where Beth Phoenix came in, and she wasn't just in there for a couple minutes like she was for the very first Women's Royal Rumble. She was in there for a good 20 minutes, I believe. Took a hard bump to the back of the head. I don't know how many people saw it, but it was when Bianca Belair was on the turnbuckle with her, and she ends up hitting her and slamming her head into the post. And all you hear is you see Bianca Belair instantly realize what she did, and they try to play it off and get her back down, but the medics are checking on Beth Phoenix. She stays in for a good while. Blood is coming out the back of her head. At first, you really can't tell, but later in the match, her whole blonde hair is covered in red. So that was interesting. Naomi came back, which was really fun. I didn't actually expect to see her. It was good to see her spot, but I think when it happens every single year, it just gets okay. It's always the same two people, isn't it? It's either Kofi Kingston or it's Naomi. Hers was interesting. It was just her finding her way back to the ring. I think they should take a break from it for a little bit, because especially now that we have John Morrison back in WWE, we'll probably see it next year with him. We'll talk about that later, but it was all right. So Bianca Belair ends up getting the record. I think she got 10 eliminations before Charlotte Flair comes in. Charlotte Flair ends up actually eliminating Bianca Belair. The rest of the match was actually pretty good, with the last woman that entered was Shayna Baszler, and I personally thought that Charlotte was going to win from the beginning, but when Shayna Baszler came in, I thought they missed an opportunity, because they had Shayna Baszler, a huge star, meant to be very soon in the main roster or anywhere in WWE, and she beat Becky Lynch. That story is already right there. It's already set. So the ending was really weak to me. when it was Charlotte versus Shayna, the last two women. Charlotte almost gets eliminated, and then Shayna just came out. She's being so confident, which is good, and I like that. But then she ends up just getting her legs wrapped around her and being tossed out. Kind of seems anticlimactic. But your 2020 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. We'll see who she picks. Once again, I think it's going to be Becky, but who knows down the road. I highly doubt it'll be Bayley, though, if Bayley's still champion by WrestleMania. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's title, and it was that match that was destined to be just in a bad spot from the beginning. Lacey Evans versus Bayley wasn't really a big match. I mean, they had Lacey Evans' daughter in the ringside, which was nice, but it wasn't there. And the build up to it was good. And the weird thing is Sasha didn't show up either. We're all waiting to hear what happened there, but Sasha was such a big part of the storyline, and she was kind of the reason as to why this feud started. But well, she just didn't show up, and Bayley caught her with some Lacey Evans. The ending was Lacey Evans went to the turnbuckle. She went to go for her signature moonsault. Bayley puts her legs up. Lacey Evans gets hit, flies across the ring. Bayley capitalizes. 1, 2, 3. Bayley retains as your WWE Women's SmackDown champion. Next up, one of the matches that I actually looked forward to the most was The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan in a strap match. I felt really weird that it was a strap match. I didn't know what to think. But Bray Wyatt's entrance still comes out. I was watching with my girlfriend, and she doesn't really watch wrestling that much. But she is so invested in this character, and we just love watching Bray Wyatt come out, this ominous thing. It's basically another rebirth of, I'm going to say Undertaker, because it's just so demonic and so captivating. And I think that's what he did so many years ago. He wasn't, I mean, people didn't really believe he was a dead man, but it just got your attention, entertained you, intrigued you as to what this character was. And I love his storyline of having to heal and come back and take control, and I love that they implemented that in the promo. I thought it was just so key. But it was a strap match. They tied up against each other. Daniel Bryan instantly goes to attack him. Bray Wyatt controls the match for a good portion, just whipping Daniel Bryan so much on his back that you see the welts grow. You see Daniel Bryan trying to fight back a little bit, makes a little bit of a comeback sometimes. They would end up fighting outside the ring. My favorite part actually was when Bray Wyatt was above Daniel Bryan while beating him down, and he comes to the commentator's desk, and all you hear is Michael Cole go, "Stay the hell away from here." I thought that was funny. I thought that was really interesting, and it shows that people were really terrified of him. Unlike Eric Rowan and all these other gimmicks that just haven't really settled as that horror one that we need. But it's a back and forth match. Towards the end, it actually does kind of seem like Daniel Bryan's gonna make a comeback. He hits him with the yes kicks. His yes movement is back, and then as he's hitting him with the yes movements, he's also smacking him with the strap all over his shoulders, all over his back. He hits him. He goes to hit his signature kick, misses. Bray Wyatt takes advantage to get to the turnbuckle. Bray Wyatt puts in the mandible claw, and then Daniel Bryan gets on the ropes. He gets him in an armbar, breaks it off, and Daniel Bryan continues to make his comeback. Bray Wyatt doesn't sell. He gets up like it's nothing, and you can just see in the background Bray Wyatt just gets up and mandible claw and just knocks out Daniel Bryan. So then after that, Bray Wyatt ends up vanishing. You know how he usually vanishes. Then we get a good 2 minutes of Daniel Bryan leaving the arena or the ring. He just couldn't leave on his own power. Had needed help for a bit, but his ego, his pride, he wanted to show that he could still do it. So that was a very good match. Next up, we had Becky Lynch versus Asuka. I love the build-up to this match. I think Asuka is such an interesting character. I think Becky Lynch and her journey to redeem herself was so fascinating. I figured that Becky Lynch would win, but Asuka's performance was great. They had a really good back and forth match. It wasn't like one of those typical heel versus face matches where it was just 5 minutes of the heel beating down the face, and then the face makes a quick comeback, and then they just do it. It's a rinse repeat cycle. There's multiple times where both women get huge offense off each other. Becky Lynch, towards the end of the match, she actually ends up smacking Asuka in the stomach to spit the green mist out, and it gets all over her eyes, and the ref doesn't see this because the ref was hurt for a second. Then Becky Lynch capitalizes, and 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of surprised that Kairi Sane didn't really do anything. I'm actually I like that. I like that when these matches happen on pay-per-views, that there's not too much interference. Most of the time they overkill it with it, but it was a really fun match. And but I think Becky should hold it down for at least another year. Honestly, I think she should hold it down for a very long time and cement herself as one of the greatest women of all time. If she faces Shayna, if she faces Charlotte at WrestleMania, I think Becky Lynch should win. I really do. So finally, we have, in my opinion, my favorite Royal Rumble match of all time. I love the 2017 edition because I was there live in Philadelphia. I love many editions. I love many returns in the Royal Rumble. I think this Royal Rumble was just so well done, and this is probably what the bulk of the video is going to be. So, of course, we have Brock Lesnar come out, WWE champion, like a boss. He comes out. He is just, you know what? People always hate him. They hate him so much, and I can just say I have learned to love him, to love his character, to love who he is. So we were just wondering who's gonna be number 2, who is gonna be in his own words, the sacrificial lamb. It comes out to be Elias. Elias comes out to play a song, singing about how before he goes in, he is the sacrificial lamb, how he is going to do his job and do what he can before Brock Lesnar gets really irritated, chases him out the ring, beats him down, gets him back in the ring, breaks the guitar over him. The guitar doesn't break over completely. I thought he was going to do it again. He decides just to throw it out the ring, which I find even better because I feel like it's even more disrespectful. And then he eliminates Elias. So now we're in the ring, just Brock Lesnar. Next one up, Eric Rowan. So Eric Rowan comes out, lasts about 10 seconds with his cage, whatnot. Brock Lesnar instantly throws him out. He's out. Number 4, Robert Roode, lasts for another 30 seconds, gets some offense, a little bit more offense on him. I actually expected Eric Rowan to get a lot more, but he got a lot more offense on him, and didn't really do nothing much to Brock. Brock gets an F5 on him, tosses him out the ring. Next up, we have John Morrison, and this is where I thought that he would do this whole gimmick, the same one that Naomi does, the same one that Kofi Kingston done, especially since I believe he was the first one to actually do it. John Morrison actually gets in and gets a couple of offense. I'm like, oh, they're going to build him. He's going to be a star. And instantly, one suplex throws him out the ring. And the way John Morrison landed outside the ring when they re-showed that, his knees buckle. And I just thought he was going to get so injured or something like that. So, next up, we have Kofi Kingston. And if you haven't been watching wrestling in a bit, on Fox, Kofi Kingston lost his title to Brock Lesnar. 8-second match months ago, I believe it was October or September. It was the very first episode of SmackDown on Fox. Kofi Kingston never got his redemption. I thought this was his chance to really, do something. And Kofi Kingston comes in there eager, fighting, ready to fight. He gets in there, he gets a couple offenses in, gets beat down. I thought, Kofi's going to get eliminated instantly. Next thing we know, boom, number 7 hits. Rey Mysterio comes out. And Rey Mysterio also has a lot of issues with Brock in the past couple months, and I thought it was really good to intertwine all those stories back into him, how these guys screwed over all these guys. Rey Mysterio with his son, and they attack Brock, but even then it wasn't enough. They get taken down. Number 8, Big E. Big E comes in. He gets. It's a match that we've all wanted to see. Big E versus Brock Lesnar. All 3 of these men beat on Brock. Beat on him. The numbers are just too much. The announcers, Corey Graves says, even though he's a beast, the numbers are just too much for him. To the point where they all hit their signature moves. Big E hits him with the thing where he puts him on his shoulders and lands down on him. Kofi hits him Trouble in Paradise. I don't remember if Mysterio hit a 619, but it was pretty cool. Big E gets we get Brock Lesnar in the corner. Big E gets on his knees, and he smacks Rey Mysterio. I found this awesome. Brock Lesnar flies over Big E's back and then just knocks him out. He eliminates all 3 men. All 3 of them. Next comes out Cesaro. Cesaro gets a couple offenses in. Gets automatically eliminated. Shelton Benjamin is number 10. Shelton Benjamin was actually... I forgot that they were actually really close friends. They're pretty cool. They sold it pretty well. They went to college together. And Sean Benjamin shakes Paul Heyman's hand. He's like, Paul Heyman goes, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And he goes to shake Brock Lesnar. He gives Brock Lesnar a hug. He says, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make sure that nobody hurts you. We're going to do our thing. And Brock Lesnar goes, yeah. Waiting for the next entrant to come out. Next entrant comes out. Or not next entrant. Brock Lesnar turns on him, smacks him, suplexes him, throws him out. And Brock Lesnar's just in the ring. He says, you're not going to outsmart me. Just a great heel. Just an amazing heel right there. Number 11, Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Another dream match that we would have wanted to see. And that's what I felt like. For the first half, it was all these people that we would have liked to ever see Brock Lesnar have a match with. Because I think Brock Lesnar's not going anywhere. But for him to have a match with one of these guys, probably not going to happen. So Shinsuke gets in there, gets a little bit of offense in. Back again, eliminated. MVP, surprise return, comes out. Once again, walking around the ring, doing his thing. Wearing a Wakanda suit for Black Panther, yada yada yada, gets eliminated instantly. This is when the match got really fun. And I thought the first part was interesting, and I thought it was really cool to see. Brock Lesnar at this point has about 10 eliminations. That's the story they're building. He's this unstoppable beast. Number 13 from NXT, Keith Lee. Boy, I was happy to see this, and Keith Lee just comes off like a star. He comes in there offensive against Brock, beating him down. Brock Lesnar looks so shocked. He doesn't know what to do. He just looks in a corner. He just gets beat up. It was really good back and forth. Number 14, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman comes out. I think the three of the biggest guys in WWE right now are in the ring, or at least some of the tallest and bulkiest. They're all beating on each other. They're beating on Brock. Brock's down. They all get up, and Braun Strowman and Keith Lee accidentally tap onto each other while they're getting back up, all dazed. They look at each other. They start fighting. They're on the ropes, and Brock Lesnar capitalizes, and he eliminates Braun Strowman and Keith Lee. I was pretty surprised about that. I thought they would stay in the ring longer. Next comes out Ricochet. Ricochet, who had some issues on Monday Night Raw with Brock Lesnar when Ricochet issued a challenge to Brock, and Brock Lesnar instantly kicked him in an area that men do not want to be kicked, or anybody wants to be kicked at all. I don't think anyone wants to be kicked there. But Ricochet tries to hold off his own. He gets beat down instantly. Number 16, Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre has just been turning, and he's been looking so good the past couple months. It's been phenomenal, to say the least. Drew McIntyre gets in there. He stares down Brock. Brock is staring at Drew before Ricochet gets his sweet revenge and just knocks Brock right back in the area where he was at. Drew McIntyre capitalizes. Claymore kicks Brock Lesnar out of the ring on the floor. Brock is in disbelief. He doesn't really know what to do. Drew McIntyre doesn't keep his eyes off of him like an intelligent person that he is. Finally, we're building up baby faces like the way they should be built up, not by morons. He knows what happens. He doesn't turn his back. He's a star. Everyone knows it. And it's finally his time to shine. So he gets his opportunity. He eliminates Ricochet. And when he's alone in the ring, he doesn't take his eyes off of Brock Lesnar as he's recovering. He knows better. He says, I'm not doing this. I'm not losing my opportunity because of you. So I thought Drew McIntyre, again, the elimination was huge. I think it was bound to set up a big thing for WrestleMania. Later in the night, it got even crazier. So this is when I'm going to have to say part 1 of Royal Rumble 2020 ended. This whole dynamic. And then we get into part 2 of Royal Rumble, which was just this whole Royal Rumble was awesome. It had great moments. The very first half is memorable. The second half is even more memorable. It was just so well done. Number 17 comes out The Miz. Miz gets a little bit of attacks on Drew before Drew McIntyre eliminates him. Then comes out AJ Styles. AJ Styles comes in, gets a little bit more offense. We're starting to build up the ring a little bit more. Then we get Dolph Ziggler coming in from SmackDown. Dolph Ziggler does what he has to do. We have Carl Anderson beat back up for AJ Styles. That's big. They're attacking people, and next thing we know, we hear the music for 21. You Think You Know Me, and I really didn't think I knew Edge because, God, I screamed. I lost my voice last night. I have never been so happy to see a return in my life more than I could see Edge. Edge came back and the crowd is going crazy. If you need to know what it feels like to be over and for people to love you, listen to Edge. Bubba Ray Dudley said something about it. It was incredible. It's definitely a moment. He looks like he came out the woods. Like he hasn't seen daylight for days, and even Edge couldn't believe it. Something I will have to say is when he comes in, the camera angles, they cut to the crowd. I don't want to see the crowd. His music just hit. They cut to the crowd. He comes out. We missed the very first part. He hits his pyro. He comes to the ring. Once again, we cut to the crowd. We miss his spears. His very first spears back in WWE after 9 years. That's big. Like why? I don't know whoever did that. It's to instantly like be suspended or something because that was God. And then unfortunately number 22 is King Corbin. King Corbin comes in and stays in the match. So the ring is still building up. And then we have at 23 Matt Riddle from NXT. Apparently there was an altercation between Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar last night. So Matt Riddle comes out for 30 seconds and King Corbin then eliminates him. I don't know if it was for heat. I think they just need to get him out, and King Corbin's already hated, so might as well just or Baron Corbin. I hate calling him King Corbin. I think it's just I hate when they do that. King Corbin, it's such a stupid gimmick. Unfortunately, also AJ Styles seems like he got hurt during this part. Edge speared him, and then he was holding onto a corner. They came to check on him instantly. Then right after, like 20 seconds after, Edge eliminates AJ Styles. I mean, what can you say? And then right away, Luke Gallows comes out. So they were planning something big here, a little bit better, I guess you can say. I was a little upset. I'm sad that AJ Styles is hurt. I hope he has a good recovery and he'll be all right. So Luke Gallows comes out. There's just the ring's just filling up. We have Randy Orton come out. It doesn't really do much. Reuniting with Edge. And they get their spears, their RKOs. They are rated RKO together. They end up doing one later in the night, Super RKO with Edge and Randy Orton on Drew McIntyre. Number 26, Roman Reigns. That was what you expect. Roman Reigns came in. Kevin Owens at 27. Aleister Black at 28. Samoa Joe at 29. And at this point, I already kind of figured he would be 30 because it's the only guy that's left. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out with AOP and Buddy Murphy. They wreak havoc. They eliminate people. They throw Randy outside. So they eliminate Samoa Joe. They eliminate Kevin Owens. They eliminate Aleister Black. Aleister Black ends up taking some... Oh, I thought this was really interesting. Aleister Black was actually eliminated because of Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy and his rivalry continue. He held down the ropes. Aleister Black fell over. He starts brawling with Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy starts brawling with him. AOP and Samoa Joe. AOP, are fighting Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. They end up leaving. In the meantime, Seth Rollins has been also doing havoc. He's been hitting everybody with his stomp all over. He hit Drew McIntyre. He hit Randy Orton. He hit Roman Reigns. He hit all these guys with this move. So the ring is completely cleared out. It's only 5 men now at this point. And standing in the ring is Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, who gets back in, Edge, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins is the only one standing up. They all start to get up slowly and build this up. And Seth Rollins sees that his guys leave. He doesn't know what to do. He's panicking. So he goes to look for Roman Reigns' help. He says, remember our days in the Shield. Come on, man. We're brothers, please. Like, we can take all these guys out, and then me and you can fight this through. Roman Reigns looks like he's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Before hitting him with the Superman punch. So he hits him with the Superman punch. They all hit their moves on him. They eliminate Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins comes out. Randy Orton and Edge end up talking a bit. They end up colluding. We should take these guys out, and then we'll worry about it. You know, like the typical thing that people do when they're friends. They end up beating down on Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre before Randy Orton starts a plot against Edge, and Edge catches on. And Edge goes, "No, I've known you for too long. I've been here for too long to know what happens." Eliminates Randy Orton, and Randy Orton's just so upset. It's down to 3 men: Edge, Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre. And honestly, I didn't know which one would win. Edge came back. He's looking great. God knows, maybe he'll get a retirement match at WrestleMania, or he'll get a couple more matches. And he's the biggest thing of the night, besides Drew McIntyre. And with Brock and Roman Reigns beating Baron Corbin, it was anyone goes. So my favorite pick was Drew McIntyre from the beginning as well. But I don't remember if I said that or not. But they all hit each other with moves. Roman Reigns ends up actually eliminating Edge, so it was down to Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. And I thought what would happen was Roman Reigns would win at this point because Brock Lesnar would come. He would destroy Drew McIntyre for being angry at him, for feeling humiliated by leaving the ring, and that would set up their match, and Roman Reigns would set up against The Fiend. And it actually turned out like that. Roman Reigns fought back and forth with Drew. Drew ends up hitting a Claymore kick, and in my head, I said if Roman Reigns wins, it's going to be a 2015 disaster again, where we're okay with Roman Reigns right now. We're not really happy with this feud with Baron Corbin, and it definitely has not helped him. But I thought that if he won, it would be a big mess. But thankfully, Drew McIntyre Claymore him out the ring. Claymore for him, and then threw him out the ring. Your 2020 Men's Royal Rumble winner is Drew McIntyre. I so happy to see this. This man deserved it. This is a long redemption road that everyone has been waiting for. He's in the ring, speechless, happy, looking at the WrestleMania sign. He can't believe it. I think this man is, if he beats Brock Lesnar or whoever he faces at WrestleMania, most likely Brock Lesnar. That's the story that they're telling. He's going to be the star they've been looking for. He's tall, he's built, he's great, he's a great wrestler. He carries himself so well. And the story that they're telling is just fantastic. This man who was given everything, a silver spoon in his mouth, now then became with the 3MB. I think that's what it was called, that awful group with Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. And he's main eventing WrestleMania now. What a story to tell. The road to WrestleMania continues. I hope to do a lot more of these. I'm trying to at least get 2 videos out. I'm planning to do a video on why Seth Rollins is the best thing that happened in Raw right now. But we'll get that video out this week. I'm going to see Monday Night Raw tonight, see what happens. But thank you all so much for listening. My name is PNP Zleya. Thank you for the PNP Podcast. If you don't know what PNP means, pass and play. Like, subscribe for more great content yet to come. Thank you so much, guys.